Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mike, DJ Online, Dad Gaming Online. As you may know me, wanted to jump on here, create a little bit of a video to talk about the absolute benefit of taking a break. I, I recorded this video once fully in its entirety, and I forgot to click the record button. So I don't know how this second version is going to come out, but hey, it's become a theme now with these videos that if I don't screw it up the first or second time, that the third time's probably going to be the one that we go with anyways. So it is what it is. Playing Final Fight on the SNES, by the way. So taking a break. Here's the thing. Whoa. Sorry. Super Nintendo was a little racy back then. The one thing that I find oftentimes is that my brain will just turn itself off when it's time to take a break. What I mean by that is I think I've become really good at listening and learning when it's time to stop doing things and it's time to start just taking a rest. And obviously as I'm getting older, those times where I need a little bit of a break are getting longer, which is unfortunate. I'm not 20 years old anymore as I once was. Let me kind of explain with an example, with a scenario. So the reason why this came of mind is because I was thinking about, as I was creating Dungeons and Dragons stuff, I was running the game for the group of people that I was playing with. We played that campaign for a full 2 years. It literally just wrapped up here about a month ago. And during that time, during that 2-year time frame, there was a requirement on me as the person running the game to have stuff ready to go. And what that means is, for anyone that doesn't play D&D, that the person who's running the game has to essentially create the story, the content, put in the monsters, get the situation to a space where the players have something to play, right? The thing was that as I started off strong, right, I was creating a good amount of content, and I always tried to keep myself at least 1, if not 2 sessions ahead of the players. Now, the important thing when you're creating this content is that you're not pigeonholing them. You're not reading a storybook, you're playing a game, right? So there's a fine line in between creating the content, between, you know, writing what you're trying to do in the game versus pigeonholing or what they call railroading the players, i.e. creating the story and what the players do versus just creating the story. You know what I mean? And so the problem that was happening is that I was trying to do all of this writing, and like I've got pages on pages on pages on pages of D&D content that we both used and that we didn't use. Stuff that you don't use, you write, and you stick it in a drawer, and one day down the road you may use that stuff, right? It'll be in that drawer waiting for you whenever you play D&D the next time. And so what would happen is I would, like I said, try and stay about 1 to 2 sessions ahead of my party so that when they made a decision, I would always kind of have something to go on. It gives this illusion of like, no matter what the players do, you kind of already have something ready to go for them. But the problem is that when you don't have something ready to go, it is blatantly obvious, because what will end up happening is you'll get either somebody trying to just completely wing it, which is not my style, or you'll have somebody who either just kind of just goes, you know what, I don't really have anything for that, so we're gonna have to pause while I go away and create that. Which is kind of like, in my opinion, is the failure point for a DM, unfortunately, because your job as the DM is the referee, the story maker, the all-around kind of like, you run that game. You make sure that the players are having fun. That's kind of the concept of it, right? And so this guy's laughing at me. And so what would happen is I would try and keep these sessions ahead so that no matter what, I'd always have some content. The problem was I was starting to hit a heavy case of writer's block. And it wasn't just like your basic run-of-the-mill stuff. It was to the point where I would come downstairs with the sole purpose of creating this, writing out this content, right? And instead of writing any of it out, I would be staring at a blank piece of paper. And that's not good. That's not good, especially when your players are coming on Sunday. You know, it's Friday night. Your players are coming on Sunday, and you got to have this ready to go. Because if you don't have this ready to go, you're going to have to tell them, hey, I got nothing here. And that's a real problem. So I finally decided at the end of it, fine, you know, after a week of like hitting my head against the wall, it's time to take a break. And I said, we're going to come back to this in a week. I have 2 sessions ahead of me already ready to go. So it'll be fine to take 1 week off and get this sorted out. And during that week, I found myself being kind of wanting to maybe check out movies, TV shows, other things, and anything that I was kind of experiencing, right? Even in like podcasts and stuff like that, I was getting these ideas, or it's like, oh, that's a cool idea. Oh, that would be interesting. We could make that work in the game. Or that's something that if the players go and talk to this person could go and see. This could happen if that person did this. All of a sudden, these ideas just started popping up. And I found that I was now kind of amassing a list. I'd keep a book nearby to write these down, or I'd put them in notes on my phone. And I was finding that I was amassing these ideas of like, wow, that's a good idea. What if I did this? And then that fit into the story. And the next time something would happen, it's, oh, that would be really cool. And that fit into the story. So I took that full week off. I came back with my list on my phone, my book, and I sat down and I started writing. By the end of that night, about 3 hours or so, I had amassed basically 3 sessions worth of content. Now, we obviously, like I said, we don't use all of it, right? Some of that stuff just goes into a drawer to never be seen again, or to maybe be seen again in the future. But the fact that just taking that 1 week off was enough to really knock out the writer's block that I had for this content really seemed to do the trick. And so I got to thinking about that, as I was creating the idea for this video, because I've been trying to kind of keep myself to, let's make a video once per week, which I don't think is sustainable. I think I'm going to have to make a video once every 2 weeks, but for the time being, this is kind of where I find myself. And it kind of just dawned on me that, like, you know what, rather than worrying about what we're going to make a video about, rather than worrying about how we're going to make that work or the time frame or any of that other kind of stuff, we're just going to wing it. We're just going to go for it. And in those moments where I have lost kind of the concept or the idea of what I want to talk about, we're going to just take a break. We're going to stop, we'll rewind, we'll back off. And it's amazing how much of a difference it makes just to step away for a few minutes. Oof, that's a one-hit kill, dude. Holy, that's insane. Don't let that guy get a hold of you. Okay. And so anyway, that was kind of the concept behind it, right? I've used this in multiple different facets of my life. Like, I mean, I was talking about Dungeons and Dragons, right? I mean, that's the obvious one because you're literally writing something and you have to take a break and all of a sudden you can write stuff again. I use this at work all the time. Not to make it sound like I'm not working when I'm at work, but I find that oftentimes when I get stumped on something, walking away from that, even for a small period of time, is enough to jog something loose that it gives you the opportunity to come at it from a different direction. And ultimately that's what you're trying to do, right? You're just trying to see it from a different perspective. And that isn't in itself enough to really get a grip on it. Taking a 10-minute walk sometimes is enough to do it. I've done that before where it's just something is just trapped and you can't get past it. Getting up, going outside, getting some sunshine and taking a walk is enough to just jog it loose. And it sounds like just oversimplified advice, you know, like you're worrying about something and someone's like, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. Like, gee, thanks, Mal. I couldn't have thought about not worrying about it. And I know it sounds incredibly simplified, but the beauty with it is that there's got to be some kind of chemical response, right? There's got to be something in it that all of a sudden your brain just is like, this is what I need. And that's its way of telling you, is that it kind of just goes into a shutdown state, right? Preventing you from like pushing it further in that direction. I find that when I take those breaks, that what I come back with is actually better than what I had left off with to begin with, right? And so now what I'll do is I'll actually do preemptive breaks, right? I'll maybe not need to go and do it. Hey, really? Get out of here, dude. Maybe I don't need to do it, but what I'll do is I'll actually take a preemptive break. Instead of waiting until my brain is like, that's it, enough, we've had enough. I will work that 1 hour, that one half an hour, and then I'll be like, okay, let's get up for 10 minutes, stretch, take a walk, do our thing. And all of a sudden I find that while I'm taking a 10-minute break out of my day, you know, not the most disruptive, but it is a 10-minute break, I find that I'm actually more productive that way, because then I come back from my 10-minute break, I sit back down, boom, off we go. I think that's the way to do it, because forcing yourself to step away and take a break allows you just to kind of, it's like flushing a toilet. Well, that does not sound good, but it is, right? It's purging all of that excess out of your brain and putting you back on track to what it is that you're actually after, right? So I'm a big fan of taking those breaks. You'll see me do it often too with the stream and with other things. Like sometimes it's just like, you know what, I'm not feeling good, I need to take a break. This guy has swords, dude. How is this a freaking, how is this a wrestling match? This freaking guy's got swords, dude. Okay. Okay. Now I've got a sword. Can I take both of his swords? No, I can only take one. Ow. Get out of here. He always comes for it, eh? I don't think I've ever gotten this far before. Anyway, the thing is, you'll always kind of hear me. Oh, wow. You'll always kind of hear me say that it's a good idea to take those breaks, and I do it myself, especially when I'm streaming or, you know, doing this video creation or any of this kind of stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna get back to that wrestling guy with the swords again, but the thing is that I've kind of interjected that now into my life everywhere, all over the place, right? Right now, I'm supposed to be going and making supper and getting that ready, and I will go and get that done. But as I was kind of up there getting everything ready to go, I was like, oh, let's take a quick 30-minute break and record a video, which will be taking a break from supper. This is Break-ception we're having right now. We're going to take a break from getting that ready to go and make a video about taking a break, which will also knock off the problem that I had, which was what video should we create this week? The video was about taking a break. So just like that, I'm like 6 layers deep, right? Is that just like blow your mind or what? I would highly advise you to do so. Do it for yourself. Try it out. If you're somebody who doesn't, I know a lot of people, that is maybe the biggest problem. I know a lot of people who are like, no, I don't take breaks. If I take a break, I get distracted and then I can't get back into it again. And I think the best solution to that is to start training yourself, right? It doesn't have to be 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Heck, get up, walk around the room one time, and then come back and sit down. And you'll find that it actually is cathartic in a way. The other thing is it's healthy not to stay sitting the whole time. You know, get that blood flow going, get the legs stretched out. I think that's the ticket. You're doing yourself a bonus when you do that. Also drink lots of water. That's the rest of your advice. Take breaks, drink lots of water. Give your brain a break. Your brain deserves it. Your brain works so hard during the day that taking a little bit of a break isn't gonna kill you. Especially if you can get outside and get some sunshine. That's the other bonus. Okay, I'm not gonna repeat that anymore, and that's where we're gonna call this one for now. If you enjoyed this video, do me a solid. Click the buttons down there underneath there. If you don't want to click them, that's okay too. You don't have to do that. I appreciate you here watching these videos. Appreciate you supporting the channel. I stream on Twitch every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can also find me here on YouTube streaming those same days as well. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Knife to the crotch. Wait, we're gonna knife him one more time. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.